Hi everyone, welcome back. Chitra here. In this video, we will be taking you along our summer harvest and we will be tackling the attack we are getting from mice in our front yard. So we want to tackle it with a natural way, and then I will be in between showing you a little bit of our garden. I took a break a little bit from editing and filming because I was organizing a lot of very important events for our family, and I have also been in Holland again this year for a few days, so this sets me back in my regular routine during the summer vacation.
So I have to go to this jungle to reach the nettle water, which we did a few days back, 3-4 days back. It's stinking like anything, so we use that. It's first of all a very good fertilizer for the plants, but the second one which we use now is to chase the mice away, because we have lots of mice. Make fresh one. Okay, I harvested them. So these nettles, there's lots of them. I need good gloves for this, because they have tiny little hair which poke like anything. So I put them in the pot, in the drum, and I fill it with water and wait for a few days. In the hot summer it takes 3-4 days, that's it. And in colder weather it takes a little longer. And it starts to stink really badly. It can be used as fertilizer for the garden or to chase away mice and other creatures. But it's very strong. You have to dilute it for the plants, like 1-10 or something. Otherwise just pour it in the ground where there is not directly plant contact. So you put it in there, I fill it with water. So here, look. I just poured and all this stuff. You really get away, otherwise it stinks.
This is how badly they have been damaging the front yard, and they're getting closer to our pawpaw tree, so it's time we handled it. Despite this electronic device, it's supposed to keep away the mice, but it was not successful, so we resort to this kind of method. Let's see how it works out. Now let's go back to the backyard. There's a lot of things we are going to be harvesting here. First we will harvest some potatoes, and over here you see a couple of string beans. They didn't do that well this year. We had a lot of salads during the spring months, but after some time they're not that good, so we let them stay on the ground. And in this patch we have a few vegetables like carrots, and of late we have been getting our neighbor's pumpkin creeping into this patch. We planted a lot of tomatoes, so we'll also be harvesting tomatoes. As usual, we have a lot of sunflower from our previous years of planting. The smaller pumpkin is inedible. It came on its own through the compost. We had a few decorative pumpkins last year and I accidentally put it in our normal compost. I cooked one day and it was so bitter that we had to throw out the whole prep. Next year, we have to be really mindful of what we can compost, and this is a big lesson for us. And here you see a lot of our tomatoes which are going to get ripe, and we will be harvesting them a little later in this video. But first, let's harvest the potatoes. We planted a few varieties of potatoes.
These are the potatoes, so what is left. These are quite dried out. So you can start harvesting the potatoes as soon as they become yellowish. And if they're like this, then that's definitely enough. Let's take first a little bit of leaves away. And then let's see. Let's start digging and see what happens. I'm curious. This is still a little bit greenish, but so I go a little bit aside and start lifting. And carefully.
No.
So sometimes it's better to just do it by hand.
Yeah.
Just make sure you go deep enough.
Oops. Oh.
I don't think it's good for our potato, but it looks good. Okay, let it fly up. This is roughly the result of one single potato. Okay? Harvest from one single potato roughly. So now let's see. Some are a little bit rotten.
Oh.
Too bad. But some are real beauty.
Wow. These are good.
From the potato flowers, this kind of fruits comes. They are poisonous. You will get a heavy stomach ache. It seems the early Europeans, when they got potato plants from South America, they used to plant, and then they wanted to eat this, so they got stomach ache. So they started throwing away the whole plant, burned them, and only when they burned they realized that the root is edible. That's what I was told from my mother. I don't know if this story is true, but definitely this is not edible, that I know. And as you can see, it looks similar like tomatoes.
Let's move on to the greenhouse. Although we used our lapel microphone, it was not working very well. We'll have to learn to set it up. And my husband has also a very soft voice, so I switched off the audio which came from it. So I will be doing a voiceover. We have planted a few varieties of plants here, and this over here is turmeric. And we have also this Nostrana cucumber. They're slowly ripening. We are getting a lot of cucumbers, but it's not as much as a couple of years back. And there were some stray carrots from a couple of years of planting. And we have planted a few chilies. These are our heirloom chilies from a couple of years back. And last year we had not a very good harvest. They look same, but let's see if they taste the same. Here you see him trying out the chili, and he is actually a little scared and skeptical at the beginning, but he realizes it's not really spicy at all. The chilies were a disappointment, although we seemed to have a good harvest. We figured out from a good gardener friend of ours how to plant chilies. He said that the chilies do mutate, and it often happens with other vegetables. We also have some mutated tomatoes, but it doesn't matter so much with the tomatoes. On the other hand, chilies I expected a little bit hot and spicy. This video I filmed sometime in end of July, so we decided we will let them ripen and see the effect of it. A couple of weeks back we did harvest a few of them, and they have the feeling of pungency and the flavor is there, but it's not as hot as the original chili. So next year, let's hope the tips we got from our friend will work out so that we get better spicy chilies. I'm trying to ferment them, and I will leave a link below for the fermented hot sauce in my blog post. I didn't film it, but it's in my blog. Please make sure you check out the blog. We have been harvesting regularly a little bit of vegetable, but the filming was done on two separate occasions. One was towards the end of July, and then other one was as of last week. In between, I was away and I was really very busy. So my husband, in our absence, was also harvesting a lot of vegetables. And right now, the tomatoes are in the peak of their season, so we are getting every day a few kilograms of tomatoes, which I will also be canning. Here we'll be harvesting some of the beetroots. We got these saplings from our neighbor, and we also planted a few of them in our greenhouse. Beetroots last really long, so I was not in a great hurry to harvest. And by the way, we can also cook these green leaves from beetroot, and it is really quite tasty. I cooked them in the South Indian way, and we really liked it. I usually store beetroot for the whole winter in my fridge, and they can last for about 3 to 4 months if you are storing them properly. But we decided to leave them in the ground for a little bit longer. As you can see, these are ripening compared to a few weeks back, and it's really nice to get a little bit more tomatoes this harvest. The past 3 years we didn't have very good harvest. We planted a few varieties of tomatoes this year. The round ones are a little bit watery. The other slightly pinkish shade, bigger ones are quite fleshy. and the longer ones are also quite fleshy. They are perfect for making sauces. The watery one is not that fleshy. This year we forgot to plant zucchinis at the beginning of the season, and so we have a little bit later, and it's not that productive. And this is the other pumpkin which came on its own. This seemed to be okay. I did cook it once, and they are also creeping up to the roof of the tomato greenhouse. We have also planted a lot of kale. I made kale chips with them, and they're really tasty to crush on top of the salads or on top of pasta. The ones which are below the plant are quite bitter because we're supposed to harvest them long back, but we are getting always some fresh leaves on top, and that is what you see us harvesting. These are Mexican cucumbers. You can easily make them into pickles. A few years back, we had tons of it. I should say we had about 30 to 40 kilograms that we were gifting off. These are really tiny and they make perfect salad pickles. This year we planted them outside, but they are a little bit tedious to harvest because there are quite a lot of them. So we planted just 2 of them from our heirloom seeds. With this, I end my video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.